Very quickly, let's go over where this prep is at right now. I've arrived at the place where it is. I swear to you that this is going to make some of you guys laugh. But yeah, it's like 3 weeks and some change because it's October 13th. First show is November 8th. And I just know that to be in shape, I'm going to need we'll say about 10 days of being exposed to the elements. So 10 more days in a caloric deficit. And I think once I do that, I can start tapering up 10, maybe worst case 15, and start to fill out and really start to get to my final approach. So we're getting very close, both in regards to what date it is, the end also, which we'll get into that at some point. But that part's such a weird trip. You wake up the next day and you're like, I guess it's over. I don't have to do a lot of the things that I was doing before. It's weird. It's weird because at the same time you want it, but then it's here and it's like, okay, well, awkward, right? It's like a weird, awkward silence is what it feels like. Oh, it can be. So yeah, we're getting close. We're getting very close. So this is what the physique looks like. And man, this is what it looks like with the lighting I'm using. So I'm using this ring lighting, bright as can be, about 3 feet away from me, maybe 4 feet, but nevertheless, it's here to wash me out because this is what I look like in that lighting. This is what I would look like if I was just trying to, just simply, I guess, get the clicks, get the likes, use all the lighting strategies that, or not all of them, the ones that I know at least that a lot of these influencers use. This is me under more influencer type lighting, huge difference, right? However, I can't guess what the stage lights are going to be like. So instead, it might be good, they might be bad. But one thing is for sure, they're usually very good at exposing things, like the good and the bad. So I just need everything exposed. I need everything scrutinized to the ultimate level, when it comes to, I guess, my lights. Those are commercial lights, very different, but I'm going to do my best, and that's why I have it bright. That's why I have it in front of me. That's why I have it up close. Again, this is important because whatever you look like under those lights, there's going to be no surprises. You're going to look better come show day, if anything. So here's the course. Take the course if you haven't. This part here, when it comes to data collection, just so important. Whether it's a contest prep, whether it's off season, you need to master this. Just like you need to master, technique on an exercise. When it comes to extracting the visual data, it's that important because that's what this whole sport is based around, right? So that's what I look like. The weigh-ins are definitely at the point now where I'm not going to lose a whole lot of weight. I'm not going to lose a whole lot of weight from here. I think if anything, because I don't want to run around much flatter than I was or that it took to get to this point, I probably am going to be eating a little bit more carbohydrate, which will show up on the scale. My GI tract is slowly fading. It's dissolving because, boy, I haven't used it the way I use it in the off season. You don't use it, you will lose it. So because of all these factors, water retention, because we're redlining, folks. What ends up happening is, weight will probably stay the same, I guess, more or less, but the look will continue to change. And realistically, it is about a pound of fat, maybe a little bit less that I'm trying to mobilize. You can lose more weight when you're at this body fat range, but usually it means you lost other things. So I think from those folks, once they arrive to about this point, or the point that I'm at right now, the visual stuff matters a whole lot more than the scale. A whole lot more than the scale. The visual stuff, and then second would be, especially if you're an experienced athlete, how is that deficit feeling? Does it feel like it's too much, like it's too little? Again, this is something if you're experienced. You don't have the slightest clue when you're new to this. You have to get peeled first and then look back and be like, this is where I pushed too hard. This is where I should have backed off. Again, a great coach will absolutely help you expedite this process. With that said, today's video is about my 5 favorite tools that I like to use when it comes to my contest prep diet. These are just my particular tools. Again, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but I'll go through why I like them, why maybe you should consider making them part of your rotation, not just during a contest prep, but also during your, during a fat loss diet. And to tell you the truth, a lot of these are actually heavily present in my off season as well. So in no particular order, I think. No particular order. All right, number one is going to be kimchi. And kimchi is one of those things where I don't use a whole lot of it. Like a little bit goes a long way. You would think I'd maybe use a whole lot of it because it's not calorically very dense, but a little bit goes a long way. I think I just like it because it's a very complex flavor. It's got a lot of boom, a lot of character, a lot of dimension. So it just really complements a lot of things well. Like whether sometimes I'll use it like on salad, so veggies on veggies. Sometimes I'll use it on an omelet. Sometimes, especially when it's one of those nights where I ended up eating no carbohydrate, I'll have like my animal protein, which is usually what I end the day with, and a little bit of kimchi. Also, some positive benefits when it comes to digestion. I hear that for some people, sometimes it can be a little bit too positive because like cabbage alone kind of does that. But then when you add some of the other unique features that come along with kimchi, double whammy. But I have noticed that it does help with my digestion. But more than anything, because again, I don't like to get bloated off veggies. What I would prefer to do is just make my culinary experiences a little bit more complex and rich because they're limited, right? So a little bit of kimchi just really will liven up. Say the other day I had, it was like that 99% fat-free turkey breast. I had me a little bit of this and the kimchi, which I should probably put here. Just completely made that thing a little bit less vanilla, if you will. I like it from Costco because this whole thing is about $10. Great price and lasts me a while. Again, usually it's about, I'd say somewhere between 2, maybe 4 ounces that I'll have a day. Not every day, but definitely on my low calorie days, and especially when my dinner is a little bit on the emaciated side like myself. This just really helps liven things up a little bit. Next up, if you like a little hip hop, maybe you know where that came from. But next up, so the last one, I think, there was some utility in there. And actually, this one has a lot of utility too. I think everything's going to be both for pleasure, but then also for utility. And this is just one food that belongs in this group. But for me, it's probably my favorite one that fits in this category, and it's in season right now, which kind of hints at what it's going to be. I love me some fruit when I am contest prep dieting, in particular apples, and I'll get into why fruits. But before I get into why fruits, this one's a Honey Crisp. My order when it comes to fruits is going to be a really good, clean Fuji apple. That's going to be the gold medal. I mean, it's one of those where you experience one of those maybe once a year, but a good, clean Fuji apple, just, oh my God. And then second is probably going to be the Honey Crisp as well. These tend to be a little bit more consistent, I feel, compared to Fuji's. Fuji's can be a little hit or miss, especially out here in Colorado compared to when I lived in California. And then finally, my bronze medal is going to be the Granny Smith. The Granny Smith is nice because, look, it doesn't get too exciting, but you know what you're going to get every time. It's more or less the same. It's, sour, not super sweet, but it's always the same, right? So those are my 3 favorite apples. I like fruit for a few reasons. First one being it's your sweet tooth. When you are dieting, just skyrockets. I'm not a sweets kind of guy, but Cynthia, my wife, is looking forward to me not ending this prep, but she understands that post-prep, there's going to be a period in time where I like sweets just as much as her. Last time it lasted about 2 weeks, and for those 2 weeks after I went to the gym, I'd come home with some sort of pie, some sort of dessert, and we would watch TV together, unwind after our dinners, while eating our treat, and she looks forward to that. I look forward to that too, because usually in the off season, I can't with sweets. I'll just bum a little bit off her ice cream and have a taste of that, and I'm done, right? But when you're contest prepping, oh my God, like sweet is good. But the issue is that whether if it is sweet and you manage to sneak it into your calories somehow, like you make it fit, the issue with a lot of these foods is that you just you want more, right? You want more. So for example, a few years ago, they had a Rice Krispies cereal, but it was the treats one. And this one was great, easy to digest, just wonderful, lightly sweetened, but not too sweet, super flavorful cereal. However, after you had a bowl, it's like, man, can I do that like 2-3 more times? Whereas with fruit, it tickles that need, right? But at the same time, like you don't want to do it over and over again. Like I have this apple. I'm like, okay, well, sweet tooth got quenched. It's not as good as, cookies and cream ice cream, but yeah, it kind of checked it off. And for a few reasons, and this is why it's great, because of the water content, because of the fiber content, and because of the fructose content, which is often demonized. But what the fructose kind of does is that, especially when you're contest prep dieting, and again, fruits are not entirely composed of fructose. They kind of differ, but they're not 100% fructose. But that small fructose, that amount of fructose that they do have, what ends up taking place is, that helps you out with filling out your liver a little bit. And your liver is what's kind of in charge of ensuring that, hey, your blood glucose is not zombie. So the energy that you get from these, it's again the need, the drive, it calms that down. It's good, but not too good, right? Where you just want to keep eating it. And the energy that you get from it is super clean, super stable. So I love fruits. I'd say when I'm contest prepping, especially when we really get into it, I don't get how people rice it up. It's stop ricing it up. There's again, you don't get as many micros. I think rice is great, but it's more appropriate for hypercaloric situations, and especially for big people in hypercaloric situations. But fruits, again, you get all sorts of wonderful nutrients. It checks off all those other boxes I mentioned, and the variety is insane. You will find yourself a good assortment of fruits that fit you quite well. This one, top of my list. After this, it probably would be pomegranate, which isn't seasoned yet, but I think this year's going to suck. And then just berries, especially blueberries, really, really do it for me. Those are my top 3. Next one is, you consider it a supplement, but I consider protein. So there it goes. That's what it is. It is protein. I consider it to be something that it's part of my food bill, right? I get it at Costco, for example, with the rest of my food. But what the specific kind of protein I'm talking about is just isolates, something like this. It's basically has zero fat, zero carb, and all protein. This one's really good, by the way. I used to use Isopure, the glass ones, the bottled ones. And I really like these when I'm at that point in my contest prep where I'm just going in for a big punch, right? Really being assertive with the calories. And I'm you know what? This morning is going to be all protein, or this afternoon is going to be all protein. It's a good way to get my protein in, or a good strong contribution to it without necessarily moving, the other numbers. Because even though I don't necessarily track, it's I'm aware of where I am calorically, just to a large extent, in fact, right? So things like this, they're just whey protein isolates, especially now with the ready to goes. There's so many options. They're so good. Especially it's a sparkling water thing. They taste pretty good, but most importantly, very useful tool when I want to be assertive and I just want to get protein and nothing else. Because hey, I'm you know what? These next 3 days, mornings, we're gonna do just a protein. Maybe one of these at 7 a.m. and then 11 a.m. And then I'll finally introduce some calories later in the day, or sometimes it's the inverse of it, right? But again, these are a great way to help meet your caloric quotas. Not that the other ones aren't, but these ones are just a little bit more lethal, a little bit more accurate, a little bit more specific to, saving calories and being aggressive, especially when they're quite low towards the end of a contest prep. This one, let me tell you the story. This one, how we fell in love. It was 2008. I had just started this gig. I was managing this restaurant. There was a Trader Joe's across the street. Didn't bring my lunch. I was contest prepping. I was super deep into my contest prep. And I walk into the Trader Joe's. I'm like, I need to find something that fits my macros, because I was an ultra flexible dieter at the time, more on, ultra flexible, underprepared, whatever you want to call it. But I needed something, and there it was, these little yogurts, because I couldn't find nothing. I didn't trust the ready to go salads, so I'm like, let me look at these yogurts. They were all okay, but then I ran into this one. Faye is what it called itself. Fat-free, almost all protein. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care what this tastes like. It fits the bill. I need me about 40, 50 grams of protein. Right now, let's do it. So I got those, and man, I had been dieting for about 6 months at this point. I kid you not, it was probably one of the most amazing things I have ever had, because it tasted airy. It almost tasted like it had fat. Again, my palate was all sorts of screwed up, but it was rich, even though I knew it wasn't, right? It's wild. Like, after I had that and my shift was over, I went over there and I just cleaned the shelves and just took them all home. And since then, it's been part of my diet, both on season, off season. So yes, it's Greek yogurt. These days I do the Kirkland just because it's very cheap, the fat-free. Off season, I might treat myself to some full-fat Greek yogurt, but it's wonderful for a number of reasons. Obviously, high in protein. You can get it low on everything else as you want, basically. And even something like this, it's just basically the no frills, fat-free, nothing on it. It's kind of like a culinary canvas. So you can do whatever you want with it. Again, most bodybuilders have a little bit of it in their diet, and they all do different things with it. So yeah, you can do whatever you like with it. You could add some cereal, you could add some fruit. I love mine with honey. Great source of protein. Again, you can get the fat-free variants, which will help you when you are contest prepping. But also, I think a big one is dairy sometimes, outside of some whey protein. And sometimes bodybuilders don't want to drink their calories so they won't have weight, but often you find a lot of bodybuilders that just don't have a whole lot of dairy in their diet. And there's some really good things you can get from dairy. Calcium. Calcium is one of those things where one can argue there's some important aspects of getting sufficient calcium that can help you, especially when, you not only are you dieting for fat loss, but you're dieting to these extreme levels of lean, like right now that I'm contest prepping. So Greek yogurt. And then the last thing, when I'm on the road, especially here in the US, you can find it anywhere. You guys are gonna laugh when you guys hear this last one, and it's this one's definitely, I think, just a me thing. So the way I usually do it, I'll run a string of low days before I cycle my calories back up, get away from the deficit, fill out a little bit, right? Get some carbs in me. But what I usually do on my last low day of the week is I need me some sort of fatty animal protein. So yes, what I'll do is I'll do what I need to do to bring my calories down, which usually means that on that day I'm just having less carbohydrate, which I'm fine with because the next day I'll have more. But what I'll do is I'll get myself something like this, something fatty, something some fatty protein source, animal protein. And the reason I like it, it's, again, like I said, I don't have a sweet palate. I don't like sweet foods. I don't. I never thought I'd say this, especially as a kid, but something happened to my palate after the age of 30 where I like savory, man. Eggs and bacon all day, right? Something like this is a real treat for me, but also, unlike sweet things, I have it and I'm good. I have it and I'm whoa, 4 ounces in, I'm this is absolutely worth it. So usually it's anywhere between 8 to 12 ounces of some really fatty meat. Obviously there's, some micronutrients that come with that. It's purely not purely, but there's a large hedonic component to that experience for me. But also I might just be making things up, right? But I think there's just something calming about having some sort of fatty animal protein. It's almost like it tricks your brain, your body into oh, good times are ahead, right? We just brought down this woolly mammoth. It's so insane. Like I could have been struggling to get to that last low day before I decide to carb up, refeed, and I have me some of that, and I almost feel like I end up having my refeeds and cycling my calories back up. But a big part of me is like, man, like I am good. I am good. Everything is good. Everything in the world is good. So yeah, kind of counterintuitive, but like I will literally go to Whole Foods and I'll look for the steak with the most frosting on it, right? The most like white. And I'm like, give me that one. This one is, I'd say about 80% hedonic, probably 20% of it I'm kind of making it up in that like maybe there's an evolutionary explanation as to like why it triggers some sort of like net positive cascade through your body, because your body's like, yes, we got a woolly mammoth, good times are ahead, right? It really, really hits the spot. And again, this is just what I do before I go into my high days. Is just a fatty piece of steak for dinner. Makes everything feel good again. And I kind of eat this way too in the off season. So usually, again, keep my fats a little lower, just naturally. But once a week, I'll have something like that's my dessert. That's like my treat. It's just more or less the same lifestyle, but more calories and a real like fatty piece of meat. So those are my 5 favorite contest prep foods / tools. You might not like any of these, but it's things that are constantly in rotation, and not just this prep, but they have been for a long time. I guess I'll give you guys one more bonus one, and this is because this is a world that I entered into last contest prep, and like I said, kind of touching off the kimchi and the steak is like, I like fat, I like complex flavors. I don't like an abundance of food. Like even during contest prep, I don't like to feel stuffed. I don't like to feel bloated, but I do like things that just make you pay attention, like a good movie. When it comes to like stinky cheese and crackers, like that's a new one. I just don't know what I'm doing in that world. So if you guys have any recommendations in regards to like what to get, open to hear those. Usually I just go to Whole Foods and whatever seems to be in the higher side of the price bracket, because you don't buy a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot. Again, it's one of those items where it's like you have a little bit, you're kind of like, boom, like I am good, right? So yeah, that's I guess not entirely how I like to eat, but all these tools play an important role. I'd say not just in my contest prep diet, but like also during my off season, some more than others. But yeah, during this contest prep and previous contest preps, these are like, again, the tools that I use most often. So hopefully you guys got something from that. Other than that, yeah, things are getting serious. Things are getting awfully close. I'm getting excited. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good time. I can't believe how fast that so far, how fast everything's gone.